living is high, cost of doing business is high. And all those things are pegged, one would say, on the taxation regime that a country would have. And we live in a country where what's going to happen next year is not predictable of what we have today, because it keeps on changing. Every budget cycle changes. That no investor would want to come into a market that they're not sure of what the taxation regime looks like. Now, how has that stopped us from addressing the cost of living? Because taxation regime is not constant. That means we are spending more, or we are importing things that we could be producing locally. How does that put us on a chokehold in attaining that development level that we want to get to?
So the concept that arises to mind when you speak about that is competitiveness. How competitive is Kenya? So when I'm an investor, I'm looking for where to invest, whether Kenyan or a foreigner. I want to put my money where returns are highest. Right? So that's why Kenyans are running to special asset funds, because Sponsor X is delivering 20% year on year, right? And you'll see a lot more of that going forward now that the capital markets are deepening. So what does that do? It chokes when you're not competitive, because you're either over-regulating or overtaxing. Then people don't invest. And when people don't invest, and you can look at it from a sectoral perspective, say, like chemicals, you can produce soap in Kenya, you can produce in Egypt, you can produce in Uganda, whatever. So Egypt, who have power at maybe 4 US cents per kilowatt hour, and you've got your energy costs at 20-something shillings or 20-something US cents per kilowatt hour, already from energy you're uncompetitive. Okay. Now throw in additional taxes. How the tax on businesses. So you've got VAT, you've got your excise duty, you've got income tax. I mean, when somebody does the math, they'll be like, you know what, this Egypt place looks better than Kenya if I'm going to invest in Africa. If the world is your oyster, then you look at, because everybody's competing with everybody. And as Kenya's capital markets become more deeper, then a lot more capital will go to foreign, because the investment vehicles now are there. And in fact, the demand has always been there. That's why people were doing a lot of forex trading and whatnot. And when Mansa X came, scratched a ditch. And now they've shown the other investment companies the way. So the investment companies are going to be rewarded because they're able to allocate capital to where returns are best. And so when you've got Kenyans now putting money in places where returns are best, that might mean that our entrepreneurs are starved off of Kenyan savings. So then how do you create employment? So the question of competitiveness absolutely has to be addressed before now, we can start talking about investments that start attracting investments.
And yet, when you talk about